Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 63 of Brat Said That. I am your host, Brat Jaxson, along with my co-producer, Chad Legipiti. We're hanging here on a Sunday afternoon. We don't do Sunday shows a lot. I'm usually always working, but I have off on a Sunday, and I'm like, I gotta get the show going. We were supposed to do yesterday, talk about Owen Hart. We're gonna all talk about Owen Hart today. We're gonna talk about Double or Nothing. Thank you all. Hope everybody's having a great Memorial Day weekend. We're going to talk about Memorial Day and why do we spend it, or why do we celebrate it. But, yeah, so much stuff happened yesterday, so much sports. I love Saturday. I love the weekend. Sports. And this is why I'm doing the show. 63 episodes in. We're about, we started September, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 7 months. We're almost a full trimester in as a baby show, but we need to start off inside the squared circle because where do you start? We're gonna talk about Double or Nothing later tonight. I'm actually excited. I've talked a lot about AEW, how I don't watch it because Tony Schiavone is an asshole, but I'm watching it tonight. We might even hop back on here later tonight and watch a little watch along, maybe Stadium Stampede or MJF versus Darby, whatever comes to be the main event. But hey, I cleared the plans. I said we're watching AEW Double or Nothing tonight, so we're gonna talk about it. But we need to talk about SmackDown. We need to talk about inside this squared circle because everything is leading to last night, Saturday night's main event, and everything is leading up until Clash in Italy. So we'll do a quick SmackDown recap before we get to Saturday night's main event. Opens up with JC Jane, Layden Reed, and Fallon Henley. The Fatal Influence. They called out Rhea, Charlotte, and Alexa Bliss in an impromptu tag team match. Then you have Tala Tonga defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. That's the tall one from the NFT. And I mean, Shinsuke, what do you do with Shinsuke Nakamura? I mean, you can really do whatever you want with him, but I feel like you need to just put him to the main event. I mean, he's awesome. He's the artist. He just knows what to do in those high-profile matches. I feel like he's been wasted a little bit. He did win the Rumble 2018, faced AJ, but he's never really got to the point where he was in New Japan. But anyway, Damian Priest came out, stopped the assault from MFT. Tiffany Stratton defeated the Last Legends in a United States Women's Open Challenge. I thought it was going to be Blake Monroe. Well, not me, my friend thought it was going to be Blake Monroe. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. But it was Last Legend. Tiffany retains. Then Nia Jax interferes and stuff. Then you got United States Champion Trick Williams decided to battle the outspoken Carmelo Hayes. Hey, the two future Carmelo and Trick. Oh, I can't wait for the next 10 years with those two. Mania matches. You should have had it at this Mania with Ilya, Trick, Sammy, and Carmelo. But, Little Yachty's still there, doing his thing with his kendo stick. So, you can't really hate too much. He's not really interfering too much. Trick Williams defeated Carmelo Hayes. Ricky Saints then came out, cost Carmelo Hayes a high stake. Oh, my God. And then I remember watching this. Ricky Saints was doing an interview backstage, and all of a sudden Carmelo Hayes comes out of nowhere and slams that mofo into one of those production boxes. Looked pretty bad. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte defeated Layden Reed and Fallon Henley. Then Jade Cargill comes out, attacks Rhea Ripley, obviously leading to Saturday night's main event and them having a clash in Italy. And then the moment that, Jade Cargill. Solo Sikoa defeated Damian Priest. And then the other MFQs came out, and Damian Priest was fighting him off. And then Royce Keys comes out, and they clear the ring, but Damian Priest was like, hey, who are you? And Royce Keys like, get your hand off me. I'm okay. So it's a little messy with those four. And then the main event, undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes, where you don't see Cody wrestle on SmackDown a lot. It was very nice to see Cody wrestle. Defeated Sami Zayn. Then Gunther came out, put the rear naked choke on him, or whatever they're calling it. And Sami Zayn's like, I'm not gonna save you. So it's going to be Cody and Gunter at Clash in Italy. So it led to, Cody being vulnerable and Gunter getting his, one-uppings on Cody and Sammy somewhere in that mix. But it was it was an okay SmackDown. So obviously we need to talk about one of the best things on SmackDown. Chelsea Green came back, introduced herself to Blake Monroe, and was like, "Hi, I'm Chelsea Green." And Blake Monroe was like, "I know who you are. I don't like you." Anyways. And then Danhausen, which is the best thing on SmackDown, I'm just teasing. He's backstage. He's doing his little operation on something. Maybe the gingerbread man, maybe. Oh, I gotta write that too. We need to talk about that too. Hold on. There you go. I love when I think of things while I'm doing the show. It, adds like 3 or 4 minutes on the show. And then, he's like using all the power in the arena. And Nick Aldis is like, "Hey, Danhausen, what are you doing? You can't do operations back here. This is catering." And Danhausen's like, "Hey, I'm trying to do something." And then Danhausen walks away, and Nick Aldis is about to take a peek underneath the curtain. And Danhausen's like, "Stop looking at that." And, it's good. Danhausen's not like shoved down your throats like he was on Raw and SmackDown. I love Danhausen. Fanhausen forever. But that was SmackDown. Saturday night's main event. We watched it last night, me and Babe. We're going to talk about the results. We're going to talk about what happened. And maybe we even give it like a grade. I don't like ratings, like star ratings, but grades are fun. I didn't get many good grades in school, but, it'd be nice to give out grades. So maybe we'll start doing grades, like Mr. Jackson's grades, but I don't know. Anyway, last night, Saturday night's main event, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, 10,714. Opening match was the 6-woman tag team match. Jade Cargill, Misha and B-Fab, they all came out looking like Michael Jackson, like smooth criminals. They defeated Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. Oh, wow. So this gives Jade a huge momentum going into her versus Rhea at Clash in Italy. By the way, let's take a step back. So, we all know that July 4th is America's 250th birthday, which is great. I can't wait. We're going to celebrate, have a 4th of July show. I got these, Tyson chicken nuggets that are star-shaped, because I'm like, I love chicken nuggets, any shape, Steiner shape, 6-7 shape, star-shaped. But I'm eating it, and I'm like, these are spicy. Why are these so spicy? And I'm like, did I buy spicy nuggets? Because, I don't like spice too much. I would never be on Hot Ones. I'll probably be the worst Hot Ones competitor of all time. But I'm eating them. I'm like, are these spicy? And I gave Babe one, and she's like, it is spicy. I was like, oh, maybe it was the barbecue sauce I was using. But nowhere on there says it's spicy. So I'm like, did I get like a bad batch of chicken nuggets? Which, there's no such thing, but I think somebody messed up and gave me spicy chicken nuggets. Because I'm still not over it. Anyway, back to Saturday night's main event. Roca, she defeated Becky Lynch by disqualification. Corrupt Carr, Jessica Carr got involved. Well, Becky Lynch kind of involved Jessica Carr. Roca was going for the Soul Snatcher. And then Becky brought Jessica Carr in. Jessica Carr took the blunt of the move. And Soul won by disqualification. And then later in the night, I don't remember if it's Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce. He's like, well, you know what? You might have lost today, but you're going to have to defend your title next week at Clash in Italy. So it's going to be Roca versus Becky Lynch for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Then I thought it was going to be the main event. I didn't get to watch this because it started kicking in. Penta came out, defeated Ethan Page, retained the WWE Intercontinental Championship. 14 minutes. I need to rewatch that match because it sounds phenomenal. I'm looking forward to an Ethan Page Intercontinental Championship reign. Might be later, obviously, in the future, because that's how time works. Paige and Brie Bella. Well, we're still a tag team, doing good. I don't know what you do with that. Do you, keep this little nostalgic act going when Nikki's healed up? Or do you have Nikki kick out Brie, or not, Paige, and then take the title? They defeated Lash and Nia, a.k.a. Rock's cousin, that Babe calls her, Rock's cousin. And then the main event, Division, Logan Paul and Austin Theory defeated Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. No Seth Rollins. And Ron Breaker came out. He was ready to spear Montez Ford. And all of a sudden, as he was going to spear, Angelo Dawkins yeeted that fool up in the air, over the table, onto the announcers' chairs, which is great. But that led Montez to hit. You know, everybody talks about Rob Van Dam. And everybody talks about Eddie Guerrero, rightfully so. Dominic Mysterio. But Montez Ford is one of the best frog splashes, D'Lo Brown. But Montez frog splash is phenomenal. He hits, I think it was Austin Theory with the frog splash. And then Austin Theory, they get pinned. 1, 2. That bastard Paul Heyman takes Austin Theory's leg, cover, and, puts it on the rope. Referee stops counting. Montez Ford's like, hey, man, that's messed up. Chases Paul Heyman outside the ring. Is about to, jump attack Paul Heyman. And while he's in midair, Logan Paul hits him with the brass knucks, knocks him out, throws him in the ring. Austin Theory goes 1, 2, 3. And the Vision is still the World Tag Team Champions. I thought we were going to see at least one title reign. We had 3 championships, and none of them changed hands. But I don't think you really do that much on, oh, that's depressing. On Saturday Night's Main Event. But we're going to look at Clash in Italy. That's May 31st in Turin, Italy. Never been there. But right now, only 4 matches on the card. We're going to still get Oba versus Brock 2. They were like, oh, if Oba signs the contract, it's got to be Brock versus Oba 2. And they had like a whole match card already lit up graphic. Cody versus Gunter, undisputed WWE Championship. Roman versus Jacob, tribal combat for the World Heavyweight Championship. Rhea versus Jade, and Becky and Sol for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, I don't know, just a little quick jump back to Saturday Night's Main Event. For the longest time, for 4 times in that match, this 6-way women's tag match, they called Rhea Ripley the WWE Champion. I mean, she's the WWE Women's Champion, so I don't know if that's something new they're doing or what, but I don't know. Anyway, it looks good. We're going to watch it early as o'clock in the morning. 11 p.m. Pacific time. 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm looking forward to that. If I'm off. If I'm not, I'll, probably watch it at work. Just kidding. I never do that. Anyway, tonight is Double or Nothing. Like I said, I'm excited. I don't know the storylines. I know we got MJF versus Darby. AEW World Championship title versus hair. I think MJF is going to be bald. Then you got Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. AEW Continental Championship. No time limit. What can you say about those matches? Then you have, you have Athena versus Mina Shirakawa for the Women's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinals. By the way, we talked about that. Sad to say, Willow Nightingale is now hurt. She was originally scheduled to face Alex Windsor, but she was removed due to injury, so this is now a wild card. Hope Willow Nightingale gets healed up. And she had to vacate the TBS championship. She's one of my favorites. Hopefully she gets healed up real soon. Then the men's, you got Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay. 2 different styles. That's going to be a good match. Love Joe. Not a big fan of Ospreay, but still, putting those 2, it's like you can't get a bad match out of those 2. Bandito versus Swerve Strickland. That's going to be a good match. Then you got a 4-way for the AEW World Women's Championship. Tekla, the champion, versus Haruki Shida, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander. Then you got Stadium Stampede. Jericho, not Chris Jericho apparently, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and the Elite. Kenny Omega, Jack Perry, Nick and Matt, cousins Nick and Matt, versus The Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona. Don Callis family, Mark Davis, and Andrade El Julio, and the Dogs, Clark Connor, and Davis Finley. I was in attendance for a Stadium Stampede match. Those things are awesome. I want to know what song they're going to use while they fight all over the stadium. So, it's going to be a good card. Then, of course, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, FTR versus Cajun Coke, Edge and Christian. A tag team I Quit match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. If Cajun Coke lose, they must retire as a tag team. Those 4 together. It's like one of the greatest tag teams of all time versus one of the greatest tag teams making a name for themselves. Brat is war. That's right. Monday Night Brat. Bratomania. Did not do good on YouTube, that's for sure. Then you got Okada versus Kushida, AEW Intercontinental Championship. You know, those two, what are you going to say? It's going to be a good card. And then the main event, or not the main event. Oh, yeah, we got a whole, as you can see, there's a whole Owen documentary behind me. So we're going to talk about Owen, because I was supposed to do the show yesterday, but, you know, we're going to talk about Owen. Then you got Megan May and Lena Cross versus Zeta Still and Viva Van. Big fan of Viva Van. For a future AEW Women's Tag Team Championship spot. Then you got Boom and Doom. Yes, Boom. Boom AJ. Once again, still going at it. And QT Marshall and the conglomeration. Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong with Big Justice. Hopefully the Rizzler will be there. About to buy $1,300 box of WWE cards. Life is great. Bro, you know what's funny? I was actually going to do a segment about that. A autographed Wayne Gretzky card sold for a record $540,000. I thought of you when an autograph 1979 OPC Wayne Gretzky rookie card graded a 9 with a 10 autograph grade by Card Grader Professional Sports Authenticator PSA. Sold for $540,000, including buyer's premium in Fanatics Collect May Premier auction. It is the most ever spent on an autographed hockey card. I watch these like card shows, like you Joey Fresh. You know how it is. There's like these 8-year-olds, like, how much do you want this Victor Wembanyama card? Oh, $850. Okay, here you go. That's just crazy. Anyway, Boom and Doom and the collaboration, they're taking on Shane Taylor Productions, Shane Taylor, Anthony Gagoga, Captain Sean Dane, Charlie Bravo, and Lee Moriarty. And then the Death Riders, Colladio, Dana Garcia, and Willa Utar versus the Ops, Anthony Bowens, Hook, and Shibata. So that's going to be on the pre-show. What do they call the pre-show? The buy-in. So, don't they usually have the Battle Royal? But they're not doing it this year, I guess. But yeah, the Owen Hart Cup, as you can see, we're doing Owen Hart Special today. That's going to start. Quarterfinals is today. Semifinals and the finals are at Forbidden Door. Just got a Rowdy Piper I had graded, come back at 10. It's worth $1,000. Well, Joey Fresh, my birthday is next month, so no. Rowdy Piper. I would love to do a show about him. But speaking about somebody like Rowdy Piper, somebody who got a little rowdy in an elevator, Ludwig Kaiser got in a little bit of trouble until the truth came out. News was that Ludwig Kaiser and his girlfriend, fiance, they were in a elevator. They were smooching, kissing, probably motorboating. And then a guy walks in or was like, hey, have some effort and respect. And then he said the words, or I'll call ice on your bitch. And Ludwig Kaiser was like, hey, man, I'm going to punch you in the face. And that's exactly what happened. So, we all see the mugshot, Ludwig Kaiser. But if somebody threatens to send, here, I'm going to read this, legal issues. This is from Wikipedia. On May 20th, 2026, Barthel, which his real name is Marshall Barthel, was arrested in Orlando, Florida, on misdemeanor battery charges following an altercation at his apartment complex. According to an initial police report, a neighbor alleged that Kaiser attacked him after he asked the wrestler and his girlfriend to show some manners regarding their behavior in an elevator. However, reports claim that the altercation occurred after the neighbor allegedly directed derogatory and racist insults towards Kaiser's partner, Andrea. She's Triple A's announcer. Kaiser reportedly reacted to these verbal provocations, leading to a physical confrontation. Following his booking, he was released on a $1,000 bond. No trouble, apparently, to Kaiser. I see that he was down in AAA, Mexico, and the crowd was going crazy, and they started tearing up. But yeah, if anybody disrespects your girlfriend, violence is never the answer, guys. We always say love yourself, love each other, love sports. But if somebody disrespects your family or disrespects anybody, a good headbutt always works. Just a pop and circumstance. So, yeah. I was looking forward to talking about Ludwig Kaiser. Now, forever El Grande Americano fan. I know those two are going to have their battle in a few weeks. I think next week is Mask versus Mask. Triple A. By the way, if you have not checked out Triple A, check it out. It is doing great stuff. It's like every Saturday. So yeah, Mask vs. Mask. That's going to happen at the May 30th show. What was it? It was called the Big Show or the Big Event, but it was obviously in Spanish, like the Grande something. Los Grandes. Los Grandes. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. Anyway, but yeah, it's actually a really good storyline. The Undertaker's booking it. So, speaking about wrestling, there's news that Baron Corbin is going to make a comeback in the WWE. Baron Corbin, he was in NXT. He was dope back in NXT. He had like the bad hairline with the long hair, and he just beat motherfuckers in like 15 seconds. They used to count down how long a Baron Corbin match would take. Got called up to the main roster, won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, WrestleMania 32, held the United States Championship, won the Money in the Bank, fell to cash in the Money in the Bank, then just kept doing the Constable Corbin thing, the Happy Corbin, where he lost all his money. Then when they went to Vegas for SummerSlam 2021, won all his money back. Was like the Happy Corbin with all his money and all his happiness. What was it? Riddick Moss was his like tag team partner, and then they split up. Then he goes down to NXT and teams up with Braun Breaker, wins the NXT Tag Team Championship, and now he is in MLW, which I thought Baron Corbin was going to be a lifer. Like, I was surprised they released him. I really was. You know, he's been on the independent, teams up with Major League Wrestling, Donovan Dijak, as I think they're called, like, the skyscrapers, because they're both tall motherfuckers. So, it'll be good. I really want to see Corbin back. A lot of people are like, oh, Danhausen's resurrecting Corbin. I don't think so. But it'd be cool. It'd be cool. But, I don't know if I want to do this right now. But, you know, since we got the documentary on, Owen Hart versus Kevin Owens would be a great match. I don't know what they're talking about, but all I see is those two. Both Canadians. We need to talk about Owen Hart because, I know we were supposed to do the show yesterday. May 23rd, 1999, Owen Hart tragically fell from the top of the Kempler Arena in St. Louis, Missouri, to his death. First off, listen, I know this is much different saying this nearly 30 years later from the comfort of my own spare bedroom on Office, but they should have stopped that show. They should have stopped the show. Owen Hart, he fell to his death. There is no video footage of this. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you saw it broadcast live. It was never broadcast live. It was never out there on the internet because this is 99. Not everybody had cell phones. I don't think anybody had cell phones in 99. So there wasn't thousands of different angles. I just know that the harness snapped and he just fell. I don't know if it was 70 feet, 80 feet, but, I don't think he, I don't know what, I was obviously not there. I did learn about it the next day. I was going to school. My dad was like, we would wake up, obviously, because that's what you do in the morning. And he was like, did you hear about the wrestler that died? I was like, what wrestler that died? And then I watched a news report, Owen Hart. Because back in those days, I wasn't allowed to have pay-per-view. Probably once every year. I would beg my dad. But, he passed, it sucks he passed away. They kept doing the fucking show. They should have just stopped the show. They really should have. Okay? He was a Blue Blazer gimmick, which is stupid. We all knew it was Owen Hart, and I read Martha's book. Martha is his widow, Martha Hart, Broken Heart, or Broken Hearts. I read that back in like 2011 from her side of the story, and just for them to continue the show, just will out Owen like he was nothing, and just say keep going. First off, stop the show, okay? Yeah, sorry. Something happened. Not even sorry. Yeah, something tragic happened. We're going to deal with this. It was, okay, I've always said this. It was over the edge, okay? A pay-per-view we don't even watch anymore. Or even talk about it anymore, obviously. Okay? So just stop the show. Figure it out. And just, okay, financially, but they were like, oh, let's get Owen in the back and get him out of here. Oh, come on down. And I hear so much stuff. I know Jeff Jarrett was a good friend. He did a whole podcast about it. I know The Undertaker talked about it. Mark Henry talked about it. It was a shitty show. Like, you should not have continued that show. Excuse me. He was only 34 years old. I'm 37 now. I just always imagine what Owen's life would be, like, career-wise. I know this is right after Bret left WWE. And he was kind of, trying to find himself. The team with Jarrett was successful. I hear that Owen would have, stopped wrestling in a few years. And I don't know. It's just horrible. But while Owen was alive, he wasn't the most entertaining. He was the most entertaining wrestler. If you hear about the ribs Owen Hart did to people, not, food ribs, but like ribs you call it in the business, like practical jokes. Like one time he put a bunch of barnyard animals in Vince McMahon's office, and he was just a true ribber. Gone too fucking soon, man. Gone too soon. They did do the Raw is Owen next night, which it sucks. 'Cause Owen was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. Everybody liked Bret. I like Bret too, but Owen, man, something about like being the younger brother, like I was, and just trying to like get out of your brother's shadow, like I've kind of felt like I've been in for a little bit. But we all know the Hart Foundation. He debuted like as Bret's little brother. They had the WrestleMania 10 match, which was great opener, one of the great openers of all time, one of my favorite matches of all time. Went on to team with Yokozuna, win the World Tag Team Championships with Yokozuna, British Bulldog, the Intercontinental Championship match he had. We all remember SummerSlam when he accidentally broke Stone Cold's neck. Just, the Nation of Domination, I Am Not a Nugget, just everything. And he was so talented, too. So talented. But, let's see. European Champion, Intercontinental Champion, 4-time WWF Tag Team Champion, King of the Ring in 94. Technically won a Royal Rumble in 94. Slammy Awards, as you can see in the thumbnail, him holding up his Slammies for biggest rap. Actually, it wasn't even his Slammies. He stole them. He stole them from Shawn Michaels. So it wasn't even his Slammies. But yeah, then and now, the with Martha and the kids, Oj and Athena, they don't want anything to do with him in the WWE. I would love to see Owen in the Hall of Fame. But they're doing the Owen Hart Classic in AEW, which, I respect, which is crazy because out of 5 of those people, British Bulldog, Brian Pillman, Bret Hart, Jimmy the Anvil, and Owen, only Bret in the middle is still alive. That sucks, man. But yeah, they don't want nothing to do with him. They did create the Owen Hart Foundation, which is great. Provides university for children in need. Maybe I'll provide a link down below. But yeah, in 2002, Martha wrote a book called Broken Hearts: The Life and Death of Owen Hart. And then, she obviously filed a lawsuit. He wasn't in any of the WWE games. There wasn't any documentaries. WWE did release Owen Hart of Gold on DVD in 2015, which is kind of, one of the very few things that they allowed, I guess, for Owen's image to be. But yeah, it sucks, man. But yeah, AEW's in the Owen Hart Cup. We'll look at the Owen Hart Cup. It's been around for a few years. 2022, Britt Baker, Adam Cole, Willow Nightingale, Ricky Starks, Mariah May, Bryan Danielson, Mercedes, and Hangman. They all won that cup. Beautiful belt too. Beautiful pink belt. I would love to have a replica of that. But yeah, so rest in peace, Owen Hart. Died way too soon. Every year, May 23rd, I think of him. I always think what he would do if he didn't pass away, and yeah. I need to get more Owen. I do have one Owen Hart action figure like we talked about, but it's just sad. It's sad to see somebody's life and that tragic, that public too. I can't imagine what you would see if you were there. Thankfully, the lights were down and they were showing a video package, but still, you would still see Owen. And then they tell Jim Ross, hey, Jim Ross, Owen Hart died. Tell the world in about 5, 4, 3, 2. I watched Over the Edge yesterday to kind of see what was going on. They had a video package of the Blue Blazer and the Godfather because he was supposed to win the Intercontinental Championship that night. They cut to the crowd. They cut to Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. It says, something happened. This is not part of entertainment. Owen Hart fell from the sky. Not the sky, from the top of the arena. And then about, I don't know if it was 45 minutes later or an hour later, Jim Ross is like, Owen Hart died. Owen Hart has died. And let's start next match. Fuck you. Honestly, but I'm getting pissed off. Rest in peace, Owen Hart. But we got to move on to MMA. We need to move on because I'm getting angry. But speaking about somebody also angry, Usyk versus Verheven last night in the at the pyramids in Giza, Italy, Egypt. Rico got robbed. Yes, Rico. I didn't see the fight, but I've been watching reports. Rico was winning the fight against Usyk. Usyk knocks out Rico in the 11th round. Referee stops in after the bell, calls the fight off, and Usyk wins and retains. Let's try to get a deeper dive into this because it was a robbery. Check your pockets because it was a robbery. All right. Let's see. We talked about it. Verheven lost by a controversial TKO in the 11th round where the referee decided to step in and wave off the fight after the bell for the round has already rung. So he got screwed. He should have won the fight. I think he was up in all the scorecards. I don't know why they stopped the fight. And it's a loss for Rico. I'm just going to go Rico because Rico's a lot easier. I think they should have a rematch. They were at the Pyramid of Giza for the WBA, WBC, and the Rings Heavyweight Championships. Well, he wasn't eligible for those. But yeah, a big robbery happened in night of boxing. So I don't know what happened, or if Usyk, they want him as the heavyweight champion more than Rico, but dang. That was a robbery and a half. I didn't think Egypt had that much crime. A lot of people are calling it a robbery or at minimum a terrible stoppage after Usyk versus Rico. The big controversy is that Rico got dropped in round 11, beat the count, and the referee waved it off basically right as the bell sounded. Going into the moment, one judge reportedly had Rico ahead and the other two had it even. Even boxing people who still thought Usyk would eventually win said the stoppage felt early. Eddie Hearn called it an early stoppage. Social media reaction was brutal, with fans and fighters saying Rico got robbed. Others argue Usyk's experience and the knockdown justified the stoppage before Rico looked vulnerable. Chad LGBT's opinion, I wouldn't call it a full-on robbery, like a wild scorecard screwjob, because Usyk did score the knockdown and was coming on late. But the stoppage felt premature. In a heavyweight title fight with seconds left in the round, and Rico still upright and responsive, most refs probably let him survive to round 12. It felt more controversial early stoppage than clear robbery. Honestly, though, Rico gained that much attention. His only second pro boxing match against one of the best heavyweights ever is wild. Because before the fight, most people thought Usyk would smoke him. Yes, so that was, that was a controversial decision, but we do got to move on. That was boxing. Usyk, he'll fight again, I hope. But we need to talk about somebody who got absolutely starched last night. Nothing smooth about that. Benson Smooth Henderson got absolutely knocked out. Belgian prospect Patrick Haberia knocked out Henderson in 20 seconds with a nasty left hook. Benson dropped face first with the referee jumping in to stop after a couple follow-up shots. 20 seconds. For a lot of MMA fans, it was tough to watch. Henderson is 42. It was his first fight since retiring since 2023. And he got nuked almost immediately. Still a huge moment for Patrick, but damn, Still crazy seeing a generational gap when Henderson won the UFC title when Patrick was 10 years old. So, yeah, tough night for Smooth Henderson. And another tough night for somebody who, we need to talk about Joe Schilling. Yes, former fighter. Still a fighter. Joe Schilling had a weird moment in a fight. Basically quit during the main event. Or not main event, during the POF card. Joe Schilling quit mid-fight at BFL Russell's after an illegal headbutt attempt by Dangi Abina. The fight only lasted about 37 seconds before everything went off the rails. Abina was on top during a grappling exchange. He appears to throw a headbutt. Referee Mike Beltran, who great referee, stopped the action and deducted the point. Which, understandable. You throw a headbutt, you're going to get brought up, deduct the point. Schilling got furious, which honestly so. You shouldn't headbutt people, even though I just told you to headbutt somebody. When the referee tried restarting them in the same ground position, Schilling refused and repeatedly yelled, "Stop the fight." I agree with Joe on that. You shouldn't have to continue in the same position. That's not right. Schilling refused and said, "Stop the fight." The fight was waved off, and Abina won by TKO. Honestly, everything's split. To me, I think Joe Schilling kind of, I wouldn't call him quitter. I don't think he quit. Overreacted for sure. Some people think Schilling had every right to be pissed, which understandably. The foul was blatant, and the reset position was bad. You shouldn't bring him down in the same position. Others think that he completely melted down and quit because he didn't want to continue after a rough opening exchange. I don't think so. And the people in Brussels booed hard. This was Schilling's first MMA fight since 2019, so not exactly the comeback that he wanted. I've never been in a fight, never been in the cage. I know Joe Schilling has a history. He knocked out that one dude in a bar, so he's kind of not well liked. Some people like that stuff. I don't know, but I don't know. It gets heated in there. I think Schilling should have calmed down. Should definitely Mike Beltran take better control of the whole fight. But weird night for PFL. Speaking about PFL, the former PFL owner or Dana White of the PFL, Scott Coker, former Bellator president, said he's going to start a new fight league in 27. We've seen that happen before with that GFL that never happened. So, hopefully we get something else, because I did like that MMA card, that MVP MMA card with Rousey and Carano. So something different. 27 though, that's in about 7 months. Then you got to get the names, the fighters. So we're in for a while before that happens. Got some NFL news. Kind of falls into the MMA. Ex-football star Johnny Manziel dominated in an MMA debut. I don't know what that was. That was some weird MMA event in the Apex held by Aiden Ross, who is a streamer. Had a bunch of like has-beens and never weres. Ray J. No, I'm saying he never was a has-been or never were. But they had like MMA fight. It was shit. Good for Johnny Manziel. I still remember Johnny Manziel getting drafted by the Browns like 27th in like 2013 or 2014. I was doing the dishes at work. But yeah, these weird offshoot MMA events just suck to me. And Sean Strickland once again said some stupid shit and is in trouble. That's your UFC middleweight champion. But I do want to talk about this. You know, we don't get political too much on this show. I think if you watch 63 episodes of my show, you know where I lean. But Jaxson Dart, Giants quarterback, he went and he spoke at the White House introducing the president, DJT. And a lot of people on the internet are upset. They're like, you know, you shouldn't do that, da-da-da. And then one of his, one of his teammates, Abdul Carter, was like, what are we doing, man? I thought it was AI. And then Harbaugh was like, hey, you know, we need to talk about that. You know, so it blew up online because Jaxson Dart introduced DJT at a rally in New York. I don't know why this president is doing rallies. This is the last time he can become president. People immediately started debating politics, locker room chemistry, and whether athletes should do political appearances. A lot of fans were shocked because quarterbacks usually avoid public politic stuff completely, especially in New York. But others pointed out Dart's political leanings weren't exactly hidden before this. Man, I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about it because I like talking about sports. But listen, where am I going to go with this? If you are, you know, everybody says keep politics out of sports, but it's so hard because it's like it goes together. You know, we've always seen politics in sports. Look at the World Series. You know, back in the day, you used to have the president throw out the first pitch. You have politics in sports. I mean, a lot of sports athletes became politicians and vice versa. So, I don't know. I think a lot of people were kind of like upset with him because of the president's actions. And it's kind of like, why are you broadcasting this? But then a lot of people are like, they still support this guy, so they support Jaxson Dart. I saw people online be like, "Oh, I went to Dick's and bought the first Jaxson Dart jersey I saw." Like, I get it. It's just, you know, like you say things like this, like the Colin Kaepernick kneeling at the national anthem is right or is wrong. Jaxson Dart introducing the president at a White House rally is right or wrong. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I want to move on. Just like the New York Knicks are one game away from moving on to the NBA Finals because last night they put on another beating, a little closer this time, in Cleveland. New York is up 3-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals. 10 straight win, on verge of the finals return. Thank you, Danhausen. Thank you, Jalen Brunson. By the way, I sat there the other night, and I'm like, damn, Jalen Brunson is so good. I wish we had him on Dallas. And then I remembered, hey, Fatty McGee, we did have him on Dallas, and we traded him, or let him go. It's hard out here for a pimp. It's hard out here for a Dallas Mavericks fan. But the New York is just one win away from the finals. A sweep. You know, a lot of people talk about, I was thinking about this the other day. And maybe it's going to be like Penny's poll or something I want to broadcast out there. What's worse, getting swept 4-0 or blowing a 3-1 lead? I want to say blowing a 3-1 lead. Because getting swept, sometimes you face a team, you lose 4 times in a row, and, you know, some teams are just better than other teams. And then, if you blow a 3-1 lead, you know, like other teams have. I don't think any team's ever blown a 3-0 lead. I mean, the Yankees did in 2004, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I'll put that on the description when I upload this video. But Oklahoma City is up 2-1 against San Antonio. Hopefully that game goes to Game 7. As a Mavericks fan, I can't believe I'm rooting for the Spurs. As a person who said they like seeing new champions every year, I like to see another champion in Oklahoma City. Just something weird to me. But we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. The Knicks are just one win away from the finals. And there's still a series out to be in the Western Conference Championship. But wow. Very excited. Moving on to the NHL Western Conference Championship. VGK is leading Colorado Avalanche 2-0. Would love to see Vegas back in the Stanley Cup. I'm a huge Colorado Avalanche fan too. But it's like, I live in Vegas. I might root for Colorado, but I'm literally right here in Las Vegas. So it's like, who do you root for? I got to root for Vegas. And over in the Eastern Conference, Carolina ties up Montreal 1-1 with a huge win in overtime. So that game can go back and forth. Like I said, Montreal, Colorado, Montreal, Vegas. Carolina, Colorado, Colorado, Vegas. Excited for hockey. But we do need to talk about this because this was a huge story the other day, and I wanted to talk about it. I didn't want to just brush it off. Kyle Busch, yes, Kyle Busch, NASCAR legend, is passed away at age 41 following complications for severe pneumonia and sepsis. I remember, obviously this was a few days ago, so I read that he was sick. He was out of the race, like a Charlotte race. And then all of a sudden, I get the news that Kyle Busch passed away. Only 41. Heartbreaking. The sport is honoring him today. I don't know. I know the Indy 500 was today. We didn't get to pick any of our picks per se. I think it's still going on. Maybe. I'm not too sure. I don't know how this works. Looks like Alex Palou is in first. Alexander Rossi is in second. I could be wrong. I'm Indiana's. I don't know, but very, very heartbreaking to hear about Kyle Busch. Two-time Cup Series champion, 63 Cup wins, most combined wins across NASCAR's top 3 series, and one of the biggest personalities NASCAR ever had. Honestly, it feels surreal because literally a few weeks ago, the conversation was about his struggles at RCR and crew chiefs changes, and now he's gone. I did see a little interaction backstage. It's like, oh, Kyle, I saw that you were sick. He's like, yeah, I still got a little bit going on. I'm not over it, but yeah, rest in peace. 41, way too young, and to just pass away like that. And I guess your peak, your prime. Or it's just, I don't know too much about Kyle Busch, but I know the Busch brothers. What is it, Kyle and Kurt, right? I do know that. I have a friend at work who I think had a crush on Kyle Busch or Kurt Busch or one of them. He's from Vegas. He's from Vegas. But achievements, so many achievements. First driver in the NASCAR Cup Series to win on every track. First driver to complete a triple threat in one weekend. I don't know what that means, but that sounds amazing. All-time wins leaders in NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. 2015-19 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Wow. That's crazy. And what do you do? Drove the Nas truck? Is that what I saw? The car? Nas car? 51. I'm just looking at his cars because I've always been fascinated race cars like that. I always thought they were cool. But rest in peace to Kyle Busch. That sucks, man. That sucks. But it's not the same. But this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and we celebrated to honor and mourn the U.S. military personnel who died while serving this country, unlike Veterans Day. Veterans Day and Memorial Day are different. Veterans Day, you celebrate all who served. Memorial Day is commemorates those who made the ultimate sacrifice. So if you have anybody in your family who passed away as the U.S. military to give the ultimate sacrifice, this weekend is for them. It's 88 degrees out here in Vegas, so the barbecue is barbecuing. And, yeah. So before we go, we've been on for about 50 minutes. I did an open mic the other day. It went pretty good. A lot of jokes. You know, I wrote a joke as the show was going on. So, yeah. Actually, before we go, speak about comedy. I guess I can say this, and I don't think they would have any problem with that. I am part of the Roastlemania family, and they are having another Roastlemania. Wise Guys, June 26th. I can't wait. I'm going to show you the card and tell you, my expectations and what's going to happen. So, Roastlemania. If you don't know, I am the two-time Roastlemania Trash of the Night winner. But this Roastlemania 11, they are having the roast battle, trash battle between, there we go. Sorry, I'm trying to get it. Between Orlando Joshua, who I lost to, against Tanner Tuttle. Yes, they are one-time Roastlemania Trash of the Night champions. So whoever loses or wins or who is honored to become two-time Trash of the Night will tie me as the only two-time Trash of the Night champions. Then father versus son, a domestic dispute. I think his name's Cole Anthony, will face Cameron Anthony, his son, in a fantastic match. That's going to be fun to see. Best friends will go against each other as Coda Hawk takes on his friend Beep Hits. Not too sure what his first name is. Battle of the Heartthrobs. AJ Rivera versus Jay Willett. Sure. And then the Roastlemania debuts of Brad Goldby versus Christina Marker. I will be there June 26th at 9:30. General admission, $25. Check it out. I think I will be presenting the next Trash of the Night champion with the trophy. But definitely check out their podcast too. They've been doing a lot of awesome pod over there. And shout out to everybody at Roastlemania. I'm proud to be a member of that family. So I don't think there's anything breaking news. We can look at who won the Indy 500. It said it was on him. 9:45 in the morning. So it should be over now because it's almost 1 o'clock. So I don't know. I don't know how this works. I know Caitlin Clark came out and said, start your engines. But other than that, I don't know. Let's see. List of Indy 500s. Well, so it's still going on. So since I don't know who's going to win or who's winning, I'm going to choose Mick Schumacher. That's the guy I'm going to choose. Oh, he's a rookie. Hold on. Let me switch that up. Kyle Kirkwood. That sounds like a great name. Kyle Kirkwood. Good luck in your Indy 500. I'm just picking random people. But we're going to get off. We might come back on later for like a watch along for the MJF Darby match because I've never commentated a wrestling match before. So I think that'd be kind of cool. But Babe is out. She is at lunch with a friend. She will be home, so I need to start cleaning up this house. But let's do a quick recap of the show. SmackDown happened leading up to Saturday's main event and Clash in Italy. Saturday's main event happened. Penta is still your Intercontinental Champion. Double or nothing tonight. I don't give predictions, but I think Darby Allin is winning tonight. Ludwig Kaiser, good for you. MMA Rico got robbed. Benson knocked out in 20 seconds, and Joe Schilling quit. We'll see. Jaxson Dart, I mean, do what you think is best. Johnny Manziel, just whatever. The Knicks are 1-1 away from the finals, and Oklahoma City and San Antonio have a series going on. VKJ, the Golden Knights up 2-0, and Carolina, Montreal tied 1-1. Wayne Gretzky card sells for $540,000. And rest in peace to Kurt Busch, rest in peace to Owen Hart. Enjoy Memorial Day weekend. I will be doing more shows coming up this summer, and check out Roastlemania. Alright, love yourself, love each other, have a great Memorial Day. I will see you guys on Tuesday or Wednesday. We got to give out a Bratwurst Award, so alright, good night guys.